Joe Raiti from Raiti's Rides. We are here at Rennsport 7. It's been 5 years since the last time that this event has taken place. And guess what? Porsche people from around the world are gravitating towards Laguna Seca for this monumental event. Now there's lots of classic Porsches, air-cooled Porsches out on the track around the different car corrals. But one thing that is getting a ton of attention here is this vehicle right here. What is it? This is the Mission X. But before we get into this next generation of Porsche supercar, let's talk about what's going on here. Porsche, they are no stranger when it comes to supercars. Starting with the mighty Porsche 959 back in 1986, that air-cooled 6 twin turbocharged engine, 444 horsepower, all-wheel drive, active aero, the whole shabam. Then what came next? The Carrera GT with that mighty V10. And then we can't forget the, of course, 918 Spyder that brought electrification mixed with good old internal combustion engine performance and technology. Now this Mission X is all about BEV. What does that stand for? Battery electric vehicle. But remember, looking at the Porsche Taycan and what the brand has been able to do with that electric vehicle, they could bring the driving experience of a Porsche and definitely have, of course, performance as well. A lot of different organizations, auto manufacturers are coming up with what their idea is of the future of performance EVs. Is this Mission X the way to go? And is it gonna be that supercar of the future that kids have on their walls with their posters? Let's go ahead, let's dive in to this car and find out, is it the ultimate Porsche? Right off the bat, the style. Now you're gonna see a lot of touches that come from their Porsche 963 race car, and that makes sense. New this year in the IMSA WeatherTech Series, that GTP class is bringing performance hybrid technology. But like I said, this is a BEV, this is a full battery electric vehicle. You're gonna be looking at 2 electric motors, which automatically will give you all-wheel drive. The big question is, will they have a 2-speed transmission like they do on the Taycan? That's gonna be interesting to see where they move in that direction. Now, when we focus at the front of the business, this is where you're gonna see some of that style taken from the 963 race car. Love the sculpted fenders. Of course, you're gonna have signature LED lighting, and we have functional aero. Now, part of the whole aero on a BEV is not just for performance on the track, but to help get as much range as possible out of the battery pack. So everything that you see has been sculpted in a wind tunnel to try to give us great downforce where we need it, but also make it very slippery as well. You can see that dry weave carbon fiber, which this whole car is comprised of carbon fiber, but I like the way they have it exposed on that lower lip. Gives you the downforce, gives you that great style. We come across the front end, and this is where, like I said, all day long I see Porsche 963. You're gonna have that crest from Stuttgart, all that history. We're celebrating 75 years of Porsche history at Laguna Seca over the next few days. And it's gonna be interesting to see where the brand takes us into the future. Now, we've already talked about how the Cayman for 2025 is going full EV. So what is gonna happen to the rest of Porsche's lineup as we go forward? But this is definitely something to drool over right here, right now. You'll notice on the lower portion, all that functional aero, the carbon fiber, and then this color is to die for. In the California sun, it's got a nice metal flake, and you can see just how low of a car this is with that hood area. Now, as we come around the side, you're gonna see some things like magnesium. So as we come towards the side wheel here, up front, you have these magnesium wheels. Love the way they did the design. You can see those ginormous carbon ceramic brake rotors, 2-piece to help cut weight. You'll notice in the background some great noises. We have Porsche race cars of all types all the way around us. It's the blending of the history, the present, and definitely the future with this Mission X. But I love the style of the wheel. As you can see, it's wrapped in those Michelin Pilot Sport Cup 2R tires, and you're looking at up front 255 on the width, 35 series sidewall. Of course, you're gonna have active suspension all 4 corners. and we're gonna have a motor driving the front and a motor driving the rear. Now, as we continue down the side, I'm gonna have you swing around and show all that aero. Lori's gonna show you all that great aero that comes into the doors. One of the cool things about this Mission X is that the doors actually open up 917 style. So when you go to open up the door, they actually swing forward, like the famous 917 race car that raced at Le Mans, and that was featured in the movie Le Mans, driven by Steve McQueen. So you're gonna have that style door. You'll notice that almost like an F-16 fighter jet, you have that glass roof design. You can see inside with all of the great technology. Even has a chrono clock in there for the sport chrono package on the passenger side. Pretty wild. Now, one of the things you'll notice, and I'm gonna have Lori kind of zoom back in, is as we come to this area here, this is not only for aero, but look on the backside, you actually have cameras on both sides to help you see out the back of this vehicle, and everything just sculpted so nicely towards the rear of the car. Now, as I kind of shimmy, we're gonna focus quickly right here. You'll notice how they put this plate over the wheel. This is for aero past the rear wheel. And this kind of goes back to the race cars, the BBS wheels of the 1980s that had that aero plate put on side for generating air and airflow. You'll notice out back we got 315 on the width, 21-inch wheel, and really speaks to what the performance is going to be with those Michelin Cup 2R tires. Now, as we come towards the rear, just like the Carrera GT, just like the 918 Spyder, absolutely stunning from the rear of the vehicle. So you can see that fighter cockpit roof with the glass. We got a rear glass window with the third brake light and the Porsche badge in there. You'll see the carbon fiber because of this whole vehicle being made out of carbon fiber. And then the way that they flare out the rear fenders, Porsche has always been awesome when it comes to lighting. So you have your full LED lighting. Look at the way we have the functional rear vents to allow the air to pass through, the dry weave carbon fiber. And then as we kind of come down, that Porsche name popping off the back of the vehicle. But like I said, I think out of all the brands, Porsche does electric the best, because when you look at the Taycan and what the Taycan is bringing, when you look at the Sport Turismo, you look at the Turbo S and everything else, this is where we see what they're making happen in production and where that production can take us. But the way that they, like I said, the full LED lighting, how it extends off the back of the vehicle, all of this aero is designed from the 963 race car. And there's that Mission X name at the back. That's your backup camera, of course. All of that great work. It's gonna be fascinating to see exactly how much horsepower that this vehicle is gonna produce. Some people are speculating 900, some people are speculating over 1,000 horsepower. What Porsche says they wanna make happen with this vehicle is they want it to be the fastest production vehicle around the Nordschleife. So to make that happen, it's gonna have to be in that 6-minute, 30-second range at the Nordschleife, but that's one of the goals of this vehicle, besides bringing the electrification side of things with this Mission X. But it's fascinating to see what they're doing, not only with the history, not only with the race cars that are out on track here at Laguna Seca for this monumental Rennsport reunion, but also having these vehicles on display, showing us what is the potential of what they're gonna bring. But of course, we have to wrap it up from Laguna Seca, so let's go ahead and let's get to it. All right, guys, as you can see, the excitement and all of the people that showed up for Rennsport Reunion 7 is just really at an all new level. Lots of things coming from Porsche when it comes to all of their road going cars. Now with this particular Mission X, one thing to remember is that the wheelbase, which remember when we talk about wheelbase, is the space in between the side of the vehicle, the wheels from front to back and back to front. You're looking at the same wheelbase as a Carrera GT. So very interesting to note that, and also interesting to know that Porsche wants to make this their fastest ever production car for when this goes into production. Now there is a lot of people asking, when are we gonna see this vehicle possibly down the road or at the Nürburgring? If you think about it, use a little bit of common sense. 2024 model year is going to be the last year of the Cayman and the Boxster as we know it in its current configuration. Model year 2025 will be the first ever Boxster and Cayman to be full electric. I'm thinking by 2026 is where possibly this vehicle might come into the market and be that next supercar to follow the mighty 959, the mighty Carrera GT, and of course, that 918 Spyder. And then the other big question is, what about cost? Well, if you look over the past, back in 1986, you could buy a 959 for about an MSRP of $245,000. Boy, have things changed because the values on those cars are well over $1 million to over $2 million. Same thing when you look at the Carrera GT and of course the 918 Spyder. So bare minimum, this will at least be $1.1 to $1.5 million, if not more, when it does come down that line. But of course, when you're here and you're filming and we have that whole live experience, we have a lot of people doing some very interesting things behind me and walking through the shop. But you know what? The show keeps on going and we make the magic happen. But definitely let me know how you feel about this Mission X. Are you bummed out that it is a full BEV? Would you have liked to have seen another hybrid performance supercar from Porsche like the 918 Spyder? Or are you wanting to just keep that old internal combustion engine ignited and alive? Let me know down in that comment section. But if you're new to the channel, you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Raiti's Rise family. Of course, none of this would be possible if it wasn't for Lori Raiti working that camera like a champ. Thank you, Lori, for doing the business. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.